A commitment to anything less than excellence is a commitment to mediocrity. Brian Tracy.
Hey you guys, it's me. Welcome back to my channel where I like to bring you guys along with me as I navigate my faith, fitness, and financial journeys. So in today's video, I'm actually going to be talking to you guys about entering my winter arc and 5 things that I think would be extremely helpful for you during this time period. So if that sounds interesting to you, be sure to stick around and check out the rest of the video. Before we get into the video, I did just want to let you guys know what type of books I'm going to be reading throughout my own winter arc. So one is going to be the Bible. Aside from the Bible, I have this devotional that's a 60-day devotional that I will finish by the end of October. And then when I get into November and December, I'm actually going to be listening to, I believe it's 100, I don't really know the name of the book, but I will put it up on the screen. Other books I'm going to be listening to is I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit, Sethi. I'm listening to that right now. When I finish with that, I'm going to transition into Power Moves by Sarah Jake Roberts. And then physical books that I'm also going to be reading throughout this entire process. This is a book that I received maybe a year and a half ago. So I just read it on and off, but I am going to actually finish it. And it's Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. I actually got a chance to hear this author in person and just give his background story on how he came about writing this book, and it is good. It's a lot of short reads. It's a lot of kind of neural connections on rewiring your brain and all that good stuff. And then a book that I pick up and set down depending on how I'm actually feeling is No Excuses by Brian Tracy. I talk about him all the time. The quote at the beginning of the video was actually by him. I do have a lot of his literature. I just feel he has so much gems. And this book is actually the first book that I listened to on YouTube. It was on there somewhere. I typed in, it just popped up and I happened to listen to it, but it was No Excuses by Brian Tracy. So I feel that this book is kind of what started my whole self-development journey. It started talking about finances in here, which eventually led me to Dave Ramsey. It talked about, the business side of things, just a whole lot of stuff in one book. Brian Tracy, one of my all-time favorites. So yeah, now let's hop into the video. One thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that in order for things to progress and you to build the life that you want and the life that you believe that you should have, you have to decide to change for you. I know that we all have different levels of responsibilities and obligations. However, at the end of the day, you have to want to change for you because you're going to be the person that's taking yourself through this journey. And if you're not doing it for yourself, I just don't think that you're gonna get the results that you're actually looking for because you are trying to be something for other people versus trying to be something for yourself. Second thing I want you guys to keep in mind is you're gonna have to shift your mindset to a you season. What does Issa Rae say? It's a me season. And I mean that in the most unselfish way. And the reason that I say this is it's gonna take a lot of dedication to get to that next level. The you that got you to this point where you are at in life right now is not gonna be the you that takes you to the next level. So keep that in mind when you're focusing on yourself and you're getting things done. This is the time to get serious with yourself. Become aware of what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, and what you actually need to be putting your energy towards during this season of your life. Next thing is going to be for you to focus on the things that you need to do on a daily basis in order to move yourself towards whatever goal or goals that you have for yourself. And one suggestion that I have is to come up with 4 different things that you can do on a daily basis in that particular area. If you only have 1 goal, then you only are coming up with 4 things. If you have 3 goals, then you should be coming up with 12 things, 4 for each goal. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be doing all 4 of those things every day. We just need something to reference in those times that we get bored or stagnant. We need something to look back at and it's just like, oh, this is what I could be doing right now to move me towards my goal. Well, I'm a big advocate, shall I say, of doing a lot of the work up front because you don't want to exert all your energy thinking of things, especially on those days when you're having just a bad day and life is lifing. It's just like, sweetheart, sweet pop, sir, ma'am, I don't have time to think about what I should be doing. If I could just do a quick glance at a sheet of paper, like, oh, okay, yeah, that's good, I'll go and do that. Next thing that you're going to be doing is establishing new systems that will eventually turn into habits. And I've come to the point where it's just like, systems are the things that build the habits. You kind of have to figure out how that works into your life and depending on what your goal is. And change takes time. Let's not act like we got to this point in life overnight, whether good or bad. It didn't just happen overnight for you. So therefore, whatever you're trying to reach isn't going to happen overnight for you either. So you have to give yourself a little bit of grace during this period where you're establishing these new systems that you want to become habits. And keep in mind, with systems and habits, you are stopping something else, replacing it with a new thing, and then moving forward. Sometimes people stop things, but they don't replace it with something else, and they kind of wonder why they're struggling to get to a goal. So if you don't have anything to replace these old habits with, you're probably going to resort back to the person that you were. And honestly, in the beginning stages of establishing new systems, you probably will resort back to some of your older habits, not because you're not serious about the goal, but because that's where you feel most comfortable at. So it's easier to go back that way versus the resistance that you are experiencing at the moment. And at the end of the day, the brain is always going to side with the comfort zone, because resistance to us is telling us like, danger, danger, don't do that. That doesn't feel right. It feels right over here, so go and do this stuff. So that's where you kind of have those internal conflicts where you're just like, I know this isn't good for me, or I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I really want to do this over here. That's where you kind of have to be like, all right, but we're moving this way. This is safe, brain. I'm telling you, this is safe. We're going to keep doing this. And then after a while, your brain's like, oh, I've rewired myself, and now this is safe for us to do. The last thing on the list, but not last in overall, is just, I wanted to save the best for last, is you're going to have to trust God during the process. I feel that there's going to be things that you're going through externally and internally, and God's going to be that source for you to actually lean on. I'm actually going to put some scriptures up here on the screen that I highly advise that you go and check out. Write them on cards just so that you can reference them as you're going through this process. Because baby, you gonna have some faith during this. And you know the saying, faith without works is dead, along with a lot of other things. And read the scriptures in its entirety. So I mean, like, read a few lines before and read a few lines after, because I know sometimes we get caught up in just knowing the actual verses because they're so popular, but we don't get the full context of the story if we don't really read a little bit before and a little bit after. But I say that to say, if you have some lofty goals, and you really want to establish them, tap into that source, and that source is God. That is all that I have for today's video. I hope that it was helpful for you. If it was, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and a like, which are the same. And as usual, take time to enjoy your own journey, and I will catch you guys in the comments into the next video. Bye.